Jake slid the new key into the lock of a nearby door. It clicked open smoothly. Mara hesitated, glancing back down the endless hallway, but Jake stepped inside. The room was dimly lit by an old television flickering in the corner, its screen casting warped shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Children's toys were scattered on the floor, puppets with bright, painted faces frozen in eerie smiles. A dusty bookshelf sagged under rows of faded VHS tapes, each labeled with titles they didn't recognize. Jake's eyes caught the TV screen where static briefly gave way to a frozen image. A group of colourful puppets standing beneath a cheerful banner reading Welcome to Happy Hollow. A soft, melancholy melody began playing, the theme song looping endlessly. From behind the puppets, a single marionette blinked slowly, its painted eyes revealing a glint of sorrow. Mara's voice was quiet. "This place, it doesn't feel right." Jake nodded slowly, taking in the eerie scene. "Whatever this is, we have to watch." The curtain rose on the bright, cheery set of Sunnyville friends, the sun painted high in the sky, a painted rainbow arching across the backdrop. Puppets bustled about, their plush faces stitched with smiles. Sunny, the yellow puppy with oversized ears, bounced energetically. "Good morning, friends. Today is a perfect day to learn about sharing." Beside him, Lily the pink bunny twirled her floppy ears. "Sharing makes everyone happy. Right, Toby?" Toby the green turtle nodded slowly. "Right, Lily. Sharing means we all get a turn, even if something is our favorite." Sunny wagged his tail excitedly. "Let's play the sharing game. Who wants to go first?" The puppets gathered around a big red ball sitting in the center of the stage. "I'll go first," Lily declared, reaching out with her soft paw. "I'll share the ball with Toby." Toby smiled shyly. "Thanks, Lily. Now it's my turn to share." He passed the ball carefully to Sunny, who caught it mid-bounce with a happy yip. "And now I share with everyone," Sunny said, tossing the ball gently into the air. It spun once, twice, then landed perfectly in Lily's paws. The puppets giggled, passing the ball back and forth. Suddenly the bell rang, a soft jingle, and Miss Moppet, the wise old cat puppet, appeared in her garden patch. "Remember, friends," she purred, "sharing isn't just about toys, it's about kindness too." Lily nodded solemnly. "I'll share my smile with everyone today." Sunny barked happily. "And I'll share my friendship." Toby blinked slowly. "And I'll share my patience." Miss Moppet smiled gently. "Wonderful. Now let's sing our sharing song." The puppets linked paws and began a simple tune. "Sharing is caring. Sharing is fun. Together with friends, we all are one." The camera zoomed out as the puppets danced in a circle, the bright colors swirling beneath the cheerful music. The sharing song faded out as the camera panned to the top of Sunnyville Hill, where the puppets had laid out a gingham picnic blanket. A colorful lunch spread sat in the middle, felt sandwiches, foam grapes, and plush juice boxes. Sunny clapped his soft paws. "Thanks for bringing food, everyone. This is the best picnic ever." Lily giggled. "I brought carrot cupcakes." Toby looked around the hill. "I found a nice shady spot under the story tree." The three puppets carried the blanket over and settled beneath the felt tree with its cotton ball blossoms. Miss Moppet arrived last, holding a tiny basket of wisdom muffins. "Picnics are the perfect time to remember what we learned today," she said, sitting gracefully. "I shared my cupcake." Lily grinned. "And I shared my blanket," said Sunny. Toby looked down at the juice box in his lap. "I shared my juice, even though it was grape." Miss Moppet smiled and set down the muffins. "I'm proud of each of you. Now let's all take a deep breath and say the Sunnyville promise." The puppets held hands and recited it together. "I'll be kind, I'll be fair, and I'll always try to share." A bright jingle rang through the air. The puppets looked to the sky. A shimmering cartoon sun smiled down on them. "Time to wave goodbye, friends," Sunny called. Lily stood and waved. "Thanks for playing with us." Toby waved slowly. "See you next time." The curtain closed to cheery music, fade to black. Then the curtain rose again. Same set, same sunshine, same rainbow. Sunny bounced onto the stage. Good morning, friends. Today is a perfect day to learn about sharing. Lily twirled her ears. Sharing makes everyone happy. Right, Toby? Toby blinked slowly, then hesitated. Right, he said, voice slightly off. He glanced toward the picnic hill, then back at Lily. Didn't we already do this? But no one reacted. Sonny grabbed the red ball. Let's play the sharing game. Toby didn't move right away. His stitched-on eyes stared just a little too long. Then he took the ball in silence. The music swelled, bright and cheerful, but Toby didn't sing. Toby stood near the felt fence while the others danced to the sharing game song again. His stitched mouth moved along with the lyrics, but no sound came out. When it was his turn to pass the red ball, he held it a moment longer than last time. Sonny clapped. Toby, you remembered how to share. Toby handed the ball over slowly. Yeah, I guess I did. Lily giggled and bounced. Want to go to the story hill again after snack time? Miss Moppet rang the triangle. Snack time, everyone. Juice and carrot cupcakes. Toby turned his head as if listening for something. The jingle that followed Miss Moppet's triangle was exactly the same as before. Exactly. The cupcakes were arranged the same way too. And the juice box on his placemat, it was grape. He poked it, then opened it, then closed it again. No one noticed. Miss Moppet tilted her head. Is everything all right, Toby? Yeah, he said too quickly. Yeah, I just thought I dreamed this. Sonny gasped. I have dreams too. Last night I dreamed I was a spoon. They all laughed. Toby tried to laugh too, but it came out wrong. Flat, like his voice box had slipped. The rest of the day played out like it had before. The walk to the picnic spot, the wisdom muffins, the reciting of the Sunnyville promise. But this time, when the curtain began to close, Toby didn't wave. He stared past the camera, past the set. At the very last second before the curtain shut, his felt paw lifted halfway, unsure. Black screen. Then, cheerful music. Curtain up. Sonny bounced into frame. Good morning, friends. Today is a perfect day to learn about sharing. Lily spun. Sharing makes everyone happy. Toby walked in last. He stood completely still for a moment, then slowly looked at the juice box in his paw. Grape, he muttered. Sonny turned toward him. Want to play the sharing game? Toby nodded absently. But as he moved to take the ball, he whispered, Not again. Toby sat cross-legged beneath the painted oak tree as Lily explained the rules of the sharing game again. Her voice was bright, mechanical, perfectly timed. Remember, you hold the red ball, say something nice, and pass it along. Toby blinked slowly. Say something nice. Sonny clapped. Like a compliment. Miss Moppet chimed in from behind the cardboard bushes. That's right, dear. He took the ball, fingers closing around it with the same practiced ease. Sonny, I like your smile. She beamed, giggling as though hearing it for the first time. But Toby stared at her longer than needed. He didn't pass the ball. Sonny tilted her head. Toby? He blinked, then quickly handed it to Lily. Thanks, she chirped. As the game continued, Toby glanced to the far corner of the set. The painted sky, the felt birds stitched onto fishing line. There was no wind. They were still. Too still. After the song, they had juice and cupcakes again. Grape juice. Carrot cupcakes. Lily licked the frosting off first, just like before. Toby didn't touch his. Instead, he turned in his seat and looked straight at the wall behind him, flat painted with a mural of a town. The buildings had no doors. The streets didn't curve. Do you ever wonder if this is fake, he asked. Lily tilted her head. Like pretend? No, I mean, like it's not real, she giggled. Silly Toby, we're on a show. Miss Moppet approached, smiling wide. It's wonderful to use your imagination, Toby, but remember, everything in Sunnyville is just the way it should be. Yeah, he muttered. They went outside next. The picnic blanket was already set. Same sandwiches, same muffins. The same cloud puppet floated overhead. Toby touched the sandwich. The crust crinkled the same way it always did. He looked at Lily again. Do you remember what I said to Sonny earlier? You said her smile was pretty. He stared. Yeah, but how do you remember that? Lily shrugged. I just do. But her eyes darted away too quickly. Toby narrowed his own. At the end of the day, the curtain came down again. The music rose. Toby didn't wave. He sat still, unmoving, eyes wide. When the curtain opened next, his arms were in the air, mid-wave. His expression didn't match. He lowered them slowly. Sonny launched into the same intro. But this time, Toby whispered something under his breath. One word. Trapped. Toby didn't say anything as Sonny handed him the breakfast plate again. Scrambled felt eggs, a slice of cloth toast, and the same tiny orange cup of juice. The bright studio lights above cast long, unwavering shadows across the checkered tablecloth. "Eat up! It's a beautiful day in Sunnyville," Lily chirped, her voice cracking slightly on the last syllable. Toby stared at the food for a moment, then picked up the fork and dropped it. Not out of clumsiness, but deliberately. It clattered to the floor. No one moved. Then, too smoothly, Miss Moppet swept in with another fork. "There we go, sweetie," she said in her soft sing-song. He didn't thank her. He didn't touch the plate again. After breakfast, they all lined up by the stage door. "Are we ready to see Farmer Pickle's barn?" Sonny asked, bouncing on her heels. "Yes!" Lily shouted with a skip. Toby hesitated, then followed. The set changed behind the rising curtain. Painted barn, fake hay bales, felt chickens in motionless flaps overhead. Farmer Pickle emerged with his usual rubber boots and stitched smile. "Howdy do, Sonny crew." Lily and Sonny clapped enthusiastically. Toby forced a smile. "We're here to help collect the rainbow eggs," Lily exclaimed. "Just like always," Toby muttered. "What was that?" Sonny asked, her head tilting. "Nothing." They split up to hunt for the rainbow eggs scattered around the hay bales. Toby watched the others pretend to be surprised with each find. "Look, a blue one," Lily squealed. "Wow!" Sonny echoed. Toby walked to the same bale he always did, reached behind it and pulled out the green egg. He didn't open it. Instead, he stared at it like it might explode. Farmer Pickle smiled. "Let's all bring our eggs together now, friends." As they sat cross-legged in the fake grass and opened their eggs to reveal glittery pom-poms, Toby held his tightly shut. "What's in yours, Toby?" Lily asked. "I'm not playing anymore," he said quietly. The lights above flickered briefly. Maybe. Everyone froze for just a second too long. Then Miss Moppet's voice rang out from off-screen. "Let's take it from the top!" A loud chime echoed across the set. The curtain fell, and when it rose again, Toby was holding the green egg, but now it was unopened in his lap. He didn't remember picking it up. Lily was already mid-sentence. "Look, a blue one!" Toby's eyes widened. He looked down at the egg, then to the others, and for the first time, he didn't say anything at all. Toby didn't move when the curtain rose. His hand stayed locked around the green egg in his lap, his gaze fixed straight ahead as Lily skipped toward the fake hay bale again. "I found the blue one," she chirped. Sonny laughed on cue. "Oh, wow, that's number one." Toby turned slowly, eyes following them. Lily wasn't acting. Neither was Sonny. They didn't seem to know this had all happened before. He cracked open the green egg this time. Same glittery pom-poms. Same plastic smile from Farmer Pickle as he leaned over and tapped Toby's shoulder. "Don't forget to share your treasures, friend." Toby stared at the inside of the egg, then at the actor Puppet's face. "Do you remember doing this before?" Farmer Pickle blinked slowly. "Every day is a new adventure." Toby stood. "No, it's not. It's the same. You said the same thing yesterday." "There's no yesterday in Sunnyville," Lily beamed, having overheard him. Toby turned sharply to her. "Yes, there is. You said the same thing when you found that egg. You even said it the same way." Lily blinked. Her felt eyelids moved just a hair too late. "It's always new here, Toby." "You're lying," he said, quieter. The lights overhead buzzed again, too soft for anyone else to react, but Toby flinched. "Let's all count our rainbow eggs," Sonny announced, clapping her felt hands together. Toby backed away. "I'm not playing this time." Farmer Pickle's stitched grin never changed. Now, don't be shy." "I'm not," he started, but the music began. The same plucky xylophone tune as always, and the curtain fell again. When it rose, Toby was seated again, green egg unopened, hands placed neatly in his lap. This time, he remembered everything. His eyes darted across the set as Lily cried out her usual line. He tried to interrupt, but his mouth moved on its own. "Wow! Great job, Lily!" The words felt stuffed in his throat like he was being puppeted himself. He slapped a hand over his mouth. It stayed silent. The others didn't seem to notice. Toby stood up again, heart pounding. The set felt too familiar, the colours too vibrant, the corners too clean. He turned away from the egg, away from Lily, away from the script, and walked off set. The painted backdrop curved unnaturally at the edges, like the whole world had been pinned in place. Toby's cloth shoes scuffed along the smooth floor beyond the fake grass, past the plywood cutouts of flowers and cartoon trees. No one followed. Behind him, the show continued, his absence ignored. "Can you help me count the yellow eggs?" Sonny's voice rang out, cheerful and clear. Toby reached the curtain, now stiff and unmoving. It wasn't fabric anymore. Up close, it looked like red velvet, but felt like painted wood. He pushed against it. Nothing gave. "Exit stage left," he muttered. "Isn't that how it works?" He traced the seam where the curtain met the wall, but there was no gap, no fold, no edge, just flat, unyielding surface. He turned back. Lily was waving her arms, pointing to a rainbow egg hidden beneath a bush. Her voice rang out in a perfect imitation of surprise. "I didn't see that one before." Toby approached her again, slowly this time. "Lily," she turned, grinning wide. "Hi, Toby. You've said that exact thing 3 times now. I've counted." She blinked. The smile stayed. "We're learning how to share today." Toby glanced at the set's floor. Beneath the thin coating of paint, he could see it, faint grid lines like stage markers, and under one bush a corner of paper stuck out, folded, a little crumpled. He crouched quickly and yanked it free. It was a page from a script. Scene 2B. Sunnyville Spring Surprise characters enter. Lily finds second egg. Toby says line, "Oh, wow, that's number 1. Sunny laughs. Farmer enters. His name was typed. His lines were written. The entire sequence laid out beat for beat. He backed away, page trembling in his hand. The stage lights above flickered, not brightly, but enough to make shadows jump in the corners. Then music, the theme. Again, the curtain fell, and when it rose he was back at the beginning, seated, holding the egg. Lily smiling. But this time Toby clutched the script page in his lap, and this time Lily hesitated, only for a second. Her smile returned, but her hand twitched as she reached for her basket. She had seen it, the page, the break, and for a moment her stitched-on eyes seemed almost afraid. The script page was gone. Toby's felt hands dug beneath his seat, behind the foam bush under the painted basket, but there was nothing. No crumpled paper, no proof. He leaned toward Lily. "Do you remember the page?" She blinked at him, smile stiff. "What page?" "I showed you. You looked right at it." "We're learning to take turns," she sang louder now, her head tilting just slightly to the left. Toby stood. "Sunny, where's the farmer?" Sunny turned from her oversized paper sunflowers. "The farmer comes after the second egg. Are you skipping ahead, Toby?" "I don't want to do the egg hunt," Toby said. "I want to leave the stage." "You silly," Sunny giggled, but it was hollow. "You can't go off script." That word echoed in Toby's mind. Off script. He turned toward the curtain, then glanced up at the grid of lights far above. He could see them now, behind the illusion. Steel bars, numbered gels, the theatre rafters, all of it had been hidden before. "What happens if I don't find the egg?" Toby asked. "What happens if I say something wrong?" Lily was smiling again, but her fingers clutched her dress tightly, wrinkling the fabric. She whispered, "Toby, stop. You saw it, Lily. The script, the page. You saw it." She shook her head quickly, but her mouth trembled. "We're supposed to find the eggs." "Why?" Her jaw clicked shut. Then the farmer entered, precisely on cue. Well, howdy there, little friends. His voice boomed, stitched with warmth and static. What a beautiful day to learn about planting. But Toby stepped in front of him. You're not real. The farmer's giant felt head turn slowly, too slowly. I'm here to help you grow, Toby. That's not an answer. The puppet paused. Then in a flat tone he said, Scene 3, reset. The stage lights shut off. Darkness total. Then music, applause, curtain up. The scene began again, but this time Lily's basket shook in her hands. Her voice cracked when she said, Let's find the first egg. And in the audience, if you could call it that, a faint silhouette sat watching, unmoving, as though waiting to see what Toby would do next. Toby stayed silent this time. He didn't rush to the basket. He didn't speak his line. He stood near the paper tree, staring at the felt clouds stitched to the backdrop. They were motionless, no longer swaying gently as they had before. Maybe they never had. Maybe he just thought they did. Lily glanced at him nervously. Toby, it's time to find the egg. He turned to her. Why do you want to find it? She blinked. Because that's what we do. No, Lily, that's what we're told to do. She opened her mouth, but no words came. Her eyes flicked toward the wings, as if someone might appear to punish them for deviating. Nothing came. Only the soft hum of unseen stage lights. Sunny stood by the sunflowers, hands clutched behind her back, smiling tightly. It's such a lovely day, isn't it, Toby? He ignored her. Instead, he walked to the edge of the stage and looked out. The silhouette was gone. The seats beyond the footlights were empty, or at least they seemed to be. A black void swallowed the space where the audience should have been. The theatre stretched on infinitely, or maybe not at all. Toby looked back at his friends. Something's wrong. We've done this before. Sunny's smile twitched. No, we haven't. I found the page, he said. It said the farmer enters after the second egg, and he did. Exactly. Every time. Lily took a step back. Please stop. I don't think we're real. Stop it, she snapped, her voice shaking with something sharp and unfamiliar. Her hands trembled at her sides. Sunny's head jerked once, then again like a marionette tugged by a hesitant string. Scene 3 is next, she said too quickly. Then the lesson about kindness. Then we have juice and crackers. No, Sunny, Toby said. That already happened. The lights flickered, and for just a second, barely more than a blink, the painted backdrop peeled away. The blue sky dropped. Exposed behind it, grey cinder-block walls, wiring, scaffolding, an empty soundstage. Then it all snapped back into place. Sunflowers, felt clouds, paper trees. Lily fell to her knees, covering her eyes. Toby whispered, How long have we been here? No one answered. Sunny didn't blink. She just stood there, still smiling, her head angled slightly as though listening for something far away. Her arms hung stiff at her sides, fingers twitching against her yellow jumper. Toby stepped closer. Sunny? She turned too fast, not with her usual smooth stage motion, more like someone pulling her from behind. Her eyes met his, but there was nothing behind them, just painted cheerfulness. You're scaring Lily, she said in a soft, sing-song voice. I don't care, Toby replied. Lily whimpered, still on her knees. We weren't supposed to talk about this. The farmer will come. No one's coming, Toby said. There's nothing out there. He pointed beyond the stage, but the curtains had closed again without sound or warning. He hadn't seen them fall. Sunny moved toward him, her shoes clicking softly against the fake wooden floor. You're being naughty, Toby. Remember what happens to naughty puppets? He stepped back. What happens, Sunny? She paused. Her smile strained at the edges like her seams were too tight. Her head jerked again. This time it didn't stop. A sharp mechanical sound echoed from behind the backdrop, a soft whir, like gears catching after sitting still too long. Somewhere, something clicked. Toby turned to Lily. We need to go. She shook her head frantically. There's nowhere to go. There's only the show. Have you ever tried? He asked. She looked up, startled. Tried what? To leave. The stage lights dimmed slightly. The paper sun began to descend toward the horizon, its little pulley creaking as it lowered. "Night-time's coming," Sunny said. Her voice had shifted, too low, almost distorted, as though it were coming from a distant speaker. The felt tree to their right groaned. Its trunk bent slightly. A seam near its base opened, revealing the edge of a staircase spiraling down, wooden, dark, and far too real. It hadn't been there before. Toby stared at it. So did Sunny. "You're not supposed to see that," she said, and her smile fell. Her face, so carefully painted, twitched at the corners. The blush on her cheeks cracked slightly, revealing plain fabric underneath. Toby grabbed Lily's hand. "We're going," he whispered, and he pulled her toward the staircase. They didn't speak as they descended. The stairs beneath their feet weren't part of any puppet stage. Toby was sure of it. These were heavy, dust-caked boards that creaked under their steps, each one dipping slightly like it hadn't been walked in a very long time. The walls were narrow, rough stone, not painted cardboard, not felt, real. Lily clung to his hand, eyes wide, breath short. "Where are we going?" she whispered, her voice almost too small to hear. "Somewhere that isn't the show." "That's not allowed." He glanced back. Neither is remembering. At the bottom, the stairs opened into a hallway with a low ceiling and a damp, earthy smell. No lights, only a faint glow coming from behind them, from Sunny's stage. Toby turned a corner. That's when he saw it. A wooden table sat against the wall, barely illuminated by a flickering bulb overhead. Upon it lay dozens, maybe hundreds of little paper cue cards. They were organized in neat rows, each one handwritten. They all had titles like Scene 1, Wake-Up Song, Scene 2, Farmer Comes to Visit, Scene 3, Don't Go in the Garden. Toby picked one up. It had his name on it. "Toby tells Lily the sun feels strange today." He looked closer. Below the line, in smaller handwriting, "Approved Loop Variation 6.3, Memory Suppression Active." Lily gasped. Another card had her name. "Lily insists the world is fine. Denial successful." Below it, "Loop response within threshold. No intervention required." "What is this?" she whispered. "A script," Toby said. "We're being written." From deeper in the hallway, they heard the soft scraping of something approaching. Slow, deliberate, metal on stone. "We need to go." But when Toby turned, the hallway behind them had closed. The staircase was gone. Only solid stone remained, as if it had never existed. And behind them, the scraping stopped. From the darkness, a voice spoke. Low, measured, almost kind. "You shouldn't be down here." They turned slowly. A tall figure stepped forward, at first shadow, then form. It was shaped like a man, but its skin was unfinished wood, carved and sanded smooth. No eyes, no mouth, only a blank puppet-like face. In its hand it held a long-handled brush soaked in red paint. "I'll have to repaint you," it said. "Start again." The figure stepped closer, the brush's bristles whispering against the stone floor. Toby's heart pounded, but he didn't run. Something in the way the figure moved, deliberate, slow, made him freeze. "Why are you doing this?" Toby asked, voice trembling. The wooden puppet tilted its head as if considering. "Because the story must continue. Because the show cannot end." Lily clutched Toby's arm, eyes wide. "But why paint us? Why make us forget?" "To keep the cycle," the figure said softly. "To erase the cracks that show the seams." Toby swallowed hard. "Is there no way out?" The figure's brush hovered in the air. "Only through the story, only by playing your part." Suddenly, the flickering light above sputtered and died, plunging the hallway into darkness. Breathless, Toby fumbled for Lily's hand. "Stay close," he whispered. From the shadows, the wooden figure's voice echoed faintly. "The show must go on." Toby's fingers trembled as he clutched the small microphone, the weight of the moment settling over him. The studio lights cast long, unnatural shadows on the brightly coloured puppets and painted backdrops, a stark contrast to the heaviness pressing in his chest. Lily sat beside him, her usually cheerful smile gone, replaced by something fragile and uncertain. "Do you think anyone out there remembers?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the soft hum of the cameras. Toby shook his head slowly. I don't know, but if they do, maybe they'll see us. Maybe they'll understand. A creaking sound interrupted the silence. The stagehands, faceless shadows, were resetting the set for the next scene. The puppets stood motionless, as if waiting for a cue they couldn't hear. The theme song began again, a cheerful tune that now felt like a dirge. Toby glanced at Lily. It's starting over, again. She nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. And we're back where we started. But somewhere deep inside, a small spark of defiance glimmered. Because even in a world destined to repeat, even under the weight of endless resets, a single memory was enough to hold on to hope. And maybe, just maybe, to change the story. The cheerful notes of the theme song echoed once more through the brightly lit studio, but Toby's gaze was distant, shadowed by a growing awareness. The painted trees, the smiling sun, the vibrant houses, everything reset to the exact same colours, the same positions, the same gentle sway as before. Yet something in the air felt heavier, less innocent. Toby stepped forward, the microphone feeling heavier in his hand. Around him, the other puppets moved with their usual scripted cheerfulness, unaware of the invisible loop they were trapped in. Lily, Toby whispered, pausing beside her as she prepared for her cue, have you ever felt like this is all happening again? Like we're stuck? Lily blinked, her painted eyes wide with confusion. Stuck? What do you mean? Before Toby could answer, the studio lights flickered briefly. The stagehands, shadows behind curtains, began their silent work, adjusting props, resetting the scene. Toby swallowed. I don't know how to say this, but I think we've been here before, more than once. And it's not just me. Lily's smile faltered. You're scaring me. He shook his head slowly. I'm scared too. But maybe if we notice it, really notice, we can find a way out. Maybe this time, things can be different. A soft breeze stirred the backdrop's painted leaves. The puppets remained frozen in place, but Toby felt a tremor of resolve ripple through him. If the cycle could be broken, it would start with remembering. He glanced at the stage clock ticking quietly. 22 minutes, again and again. But this time, Toby wasn't willing to forget. The stage was set again, the sun shining brightly on the painted hills, and the puppets resumed their cheerful poses. But Toby stood still, his wooden fingers clenched tightly. The others played their parts, oblivious to the strange feeling tugging at the edges of reality. Toby, are you okay? Lily asked, her voice softer this time, tinged with concern. You've been acting different. He looked at her, a flicker of hope in his static, streaked eyes. I remember now. Not everything, but enough. We've been through this so many times, the same songs, the same lines. It's a loop. Lily's painted mouth twitched in confusion. But how? Why would we be stuck? Toby hesitated, searching for words that made sense even to himself. I don't know, but I think someone out there is watching us, like a TV show. Her gaze drifted toward the old TV set in the corner of the stage, its screen flickering faintly. You mean people are watching? Yeah, Toby said quietly. And I want to find a way to tell them, to break the cycle. Lily looked around nervously as if half expecting the stagehands to overhear them. But if we do, what happens next? Toby's voice was steady, despite the fear inside. I don't know, but I have to try, for all of us. The puppets returned to their places as the cheerful melody started again, but Toby's mind was elsewhere. He watched the swirling patterns on the TV screen, searching for something, a sign, a clue, anything that could explain their endless repetition. Do you think they hear us? He whispered to Lily during a quiet moment between scenes. She shrugged, her stitched smile faltering. I don't know. Maybe we're just meant to perform forever. No, Toby said firmly. There has to be a way out. I feel it in my joints, like something's pulling me, trying to break free. The others carried on, repeating their lines with mechanical precision, unaware of the small rebellion growing within Toby's heart. That night, when the stage lights dimmed, Toby crept behind the scenes, examining the old props and wires. Among the clutter, he found a tattered script with scribbled notes in the margins, lines crossed out, added, and rewritten. His wooden hand trembled as he traced the words, "This can't go on forever." Toby folded the script carefully and hid it beneath a loose floorboard. If there was hope, it was here, in the cracks, the forgotten pages, the small acts of defiance. He just had to find a way to show it. Toby woke to the bright lights of the stage, the opening theme swelling around him once more. But something inside him stirred differently today, a flicker of awareness that refused to be dimmed. As the other puppets took their places, Toby hesitated, then stepped forward, altering his usual greeting. "Good morning, friends," he said softly, voice uneven but determined. Lily blinked in surprise, her stitched smile wavering. "Toby? What's wrong?" He looked at her, eyes flickering with static, the hint of frustration beneath his painted expression. "Do you remember yesterday? The scene before this one? The words we said?" A silence fell over the cast. No one else seemed to grasp what he was trying to say. "It's all the same," Toby whispered. "Every day, every moment, it's repeating." Lily shook her head, a nervous laugh escaping. "You're imagining things. The show goes on, that's all." "But it doesn't feel right," Toby insisted. "We're stuck, trapped in the same cycle. There has to be a way to change it." Behind the scenes, faint static crackled, as if the very fabric of their world was straining against his words. Toby knew he wasn't alone in sensing it. Somewhere, deep beneath the bright smiles and cheerful tunes, a secret waited to be uncovered. The stage lights dimmed briefly, casting long shadows across the cheerful set. Toby's heart, or whatever pulsed beneath his wooden frame, beat faster as he prepared to speak again. During the commercial break, Toby slipped away from the others, retreating to a quiet corner behind the curtains. He traced the worn edges of a script page, fingers trembling. "Lily," he called softly, hoping she would listen. She appeared hesitantly, eyes wide and uncertain. "I don't think we're just puppets," Toby said. "There's something more, something controlling us." Lily glanced nervously toward the stage, then back at him. "You think this show is alive?" Toby nodded. "And it keeps resetting us over and over, like we're stuck in a loop." Lily swallowed. "What can we do?" He looked at the rows of empty seats beyond the curtains, the silent audience watching unseen. "We have to find a way to break the pattern, to make them see." A soft, static hiss filled the air, as if the walls themselves were listening. "Tomorrow," Toby whispered. "Tomorrow we try something new." Toby stood backstage, heart pounding against the wooden ribs of his chest. The familiar tune of the opening theme began to swell from the speakers, its melody both comforting and suffocating. Around him, the other puppets took their places, faces painted with eternal smiles, eyes fixed on their marks. But Toby's gaze flickered, searching for cracks in the script. "Maybe if I change just one line," he thought, "they'll notice. They have to." As the curtains parted, he deliberately stumbled over his opening words. The other puppets froze, their movements stiff and rehearsed. Lily's eyes met his, confusion flickering behind her glassy stare. "What are you doing?" she whispered during the scene. "I'm trying to break the loop," Toby murmured back. The audience remained silent, but Toby could sense a shift, something fragile trembling beneath the surface of their endless performance. When the song ended and the lights faded, Toby's hope burned brighter. "Tomorrow," he promised himself, "I'll try again." The stage reset with mechanical precision, the same bright colours, the same smiling faces. Toby blinked, trying to hold on to the flicker of memory from the last performance. As the opening notes of the theme song played once more, a quiet panic settled over him. This was happening again, the reset. He looked at Lily, hoping for a sign, anything that showed she remembered too, but her expression was blank, rehearsed. Toby took a deep breath and tried something new. During a lull in the script, he whispered under his breath, "We're stuck. Do you remember?" Lily's eyes flickered just for a moment. Then she smiled politely, as if nothing had happened. "No," she replied softly, voice tinged with confusion. "What are you talking about?" Toby's heart sank, but he didn't give up. The loop was relentless, but maybe, just maybe, he could find a way to reach her before it began again. The next scene unfolded exactly as before, the cheerful chatter and bright colours masking the growing unease inside Toby. He tried to change his lines subtly, slipping in hints about the repeating day, but the other puppets stuck to their scripts, oblivious or unwilling to acknowledge anything amiss. During a quiet moment backstage, Toby pulled Lily aside. "You have to remember, we're caught in a loop. This show resets every time it ends." Lily frowned, searching his face. "That sounds impossible. But sometimes I feel like I've been here before." Toby nodded, heart pounding. "Exactly. We have to find a way to break it. Together." Her eyes widened, a flicker of hope mingling with fear, but the lights dimmed, signaling the reset was near. Toby gripped her hand tightly. "Don't forget." The final moments before the reset stretched longer than usual, as if the world itself hesitated. Toby and Lily stood center stage, voices trembling but determined. "We have to break free," Toby whispered. "This can't go on forever." Lily nodded, her eyes shining with resolve. "Then let's change the story. Together." As the theme music swelled, they faced the audience, ready to rewrite their fate. But just as hope sparked, the screen flickered violently. Then everything vanished. The loop began anew, yet beneath the surface a quiet rebellion stirred, waiting for the next cycle to rise. The lights snapped back on, the cheerful set gleaming under familiar studio spotlights. Toby blinked, heart pounding. Again. The cycle had reset. But this time, something was different. As the opening theme played, he caught a glimpse in the reflection of the stage mirror, a faint, ghostly imprint of the previous cycle's events shimmering behind him. Determined, Toby clenched his fists. This endless loop wasn't just a prison, it was a puzzle, and he was starting to see the pieces. Lily turned toward him, eyes clearer now, a flicker of recognition sparking. "We'll find the way out," she said quietly. Together they stepped forward, ready to face the reset once more, but this time with a plan. The familiar jingle started again, but Toby's heart wasn't racing with the same helpless panic. He'd begun to piece together the fragments, to remember the cracks between resets. Lily whispered from beside him, "We can't just repeat what happened. We need to change it, somehow." Around them, the cheerful puppets moved through their motions, unaware, trapped in the same endless loop. Toby took a deep breath and spoke louder than before. "This isn't just a show, it's a trap." No one responded, except for one puppet, eyes flickering with something new, doubt. The seed of rebellion was growing. Jake sank onto the worn-out armchair, rubbing his temples. That was something else. Like I was watching the same show, but something was off the whole time. Mara sat opposite him, eyes flicking to the dark screen. "Yeah, you think it just loops, like really resets every 22 minutes? Jake nodded slowly. "Feels like it, but how does someone remember? That puppet, Toby, right? He was different." Mara sighed, leaning forward. "I wonder if we could change the channel, see if there's anything else on this TV. Maybe there's a way out of this endless loop." Jake reached for the remote on the small table. "All right, let's see what we've got." He pressed the Channel Up button once. The screen flickered, but stayed stubbornly on the same static blue logo of Channel 0. "Try down," Mara suggested. Jake clicked Channel Down. Same thing. They took turns pressing buttons, flipping through numbers, but every channel snapped back to that eerie Channel 0 logo. Mara frowned, whispering, "No matter what we do, it's stuck, like we're trapped inside it." Jake's jaw tightened. "So this TV, this place, it's part of the trap, that show, the loop, the puppets, all on one channel that won't change." Mara exhaled, voice heavy, "And we're the audience now. Or worse, the captives." Jake glanced over at the door they came through. "We've got that key. We can try another room. Maybe the next one has a different show. Or maybe it's all the same." Mara nodded. "Either way, we can't just sit here. Let's get some rest first, then see what other doors lead to." Jake settled back, still watching the frozen Channel 0 logo glow faintly in the dark room. Mara's voice softened. "This isn't just a motel, it's a broadcast, and we're stuck in its static."